All right, good morning, guys. As you guys see by the title of the video, Vikings for some reason traded Mike Hughes yesterday, and I think I have a pretty good idea on why. To kind of take the good news with the bad news is kind of me kind of speculating on everything, but I think I have it figured out. I think I kind of know why Mike Hughes was traded for a 6th-round pick. Anyways, Rick Spielman drafted him first round, traded him for a 6th round. He lost on this trade. There's no real thing to talk about. But why they traded him at the time they did, I think there's a couple answers to that. If you guys are new, subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, comment down below. Thanks guys so much for the support recently. Anyways, why the hell would the Vikings trade Mike Hughes? Let's talk about it. Okay, Mike Hughes, 1st-round corner. The Vikings took out of UCF with the 30th overall pick the year after they made the NFC Championship game. And Mike Hughes, he really came onto the scene as a Vikings corner. He splashed, man. He had that pick 6 against the San Francisco 49ers in his first ever game. And I was like, wow, this kid might have some playmaker in him. Obviously he struggled with technique early on, but I was like, I saw the pick, I saw the interception, I saw him, and I was like, maybe he'll have some playmaker. Maybe he'll be kind of a ball hawk type of corner. And I was excited. And then, he got injured. He tore his ACL. That's tough. There's nothing really he can do. Then he came back last year, finally, and, he struggled against Dallas in that one game. Amari Cooper torched him. He was obviously hurt all last season, like the most recent one, the COVID year. But anyways, Mike Hughes, very up and down career with the Minnesota Vikings. However, he's still 1st-round talent, and he still has value. And I'm not trying to say that he's worth a 6th-round pick. That's actually the opposite. And that's why I think them trading Mike Hughes, I think it makes the Jeff Gladney situation, I think that may be A-okay. And I think Gladney may be fine. And just let me explain myself. So Mike Hughes, obviously, he's not a 1st-round talent anymore. He's not worth a 1st on the market. But he's also not worth a 6th. I think if you realistically wanted to trade Mike Hughes, you wanted to get the most bang for your buck, you would probably get a 3rd or a 4th. I think the 6th-round pick that they got was kind of them just trying to get rid of Mike Hughes, maybe. I think them trading Mike Hughes, for me, the way I interpret this, I will take this as Jeff Gladney's situation is A-okay. I don't think the Vikings would just trade away Mike Hughes for a 6th-round pick if they didn't know they were going to have Jeff Gladney this upcoming season. And you might be thinking, well, why would there be a correlation? I mean, listen, I get they're both corners, but why would there be a correlation is something you may be saying right now. There has to be a correlation because if you think about it, logically, on cornerback depth in the Minnesota Vikings. Listen, injuries riddled the secondary last year. The Vikings know this. They're a self-aware team. They've addressed their problems this offseason, such as the O-line, D-line, and secondary. They've addressed it. They're self-aware. They know what their problems were last year. So let's just say, hypothetically, you have 2 corners on the roster right now who you think are going to play and be good no matter what. You got Pat Pete and Dantzler. Those are 2 guys the level of production may vary and how you value them, but they'll be there, and they'll be 2 of the starters day 1. Your question marks come with Jeff Gladney, Mike Hughes, Chris Boyd, guys like that, like the other 3 corners who you may not know what you're going to get from them. So why would the Vikings just trade away probably their 3rd or 4th corner for absolutely nothing when their other 3rd or 4th corner already has a ton of question marks on if he's going to be there this season? I think the Vikings have been talking to Jeff Gladney recently, and they probably have been talking to Mike Hughes too. I think this was kind of a team-friendly thing or a player-friendly deal for Mike Hughes, kind of saying, hey, we'll send you to Kansas City. You can go win a Super Bowl probably. During your tenure there, but you got 1 year. They're a depleted secondary. They need your help. You go prove it there. We got our 3 guys here in Pat, Pete, Dantzler, and Gladney, and maybe Mike Hughes didn't want to be the 4th guy. That could very well be a thing where they know Gladney's going to be their 3rd corner this year, and I think he is. I think that situation's done. I know I made that video a while ago talking about the case and how I think Jeff Gladney could potentially be done once I heard all the facts about the case, and when they're going through the due process on the Jeff Gladney case, it just didn't really seem too good for him. There's no real light at the end of the tunnel per se on if Jeff Gladney is going to play. But honestly, Mike Hughes being traded yesterday, at first I was like, why the hell would they trade Mike Hughes? I was a little upset. I was like, Rick, why would you do this? But then again, listen, Rick Spielman's an NFL GM, and he's been honestly fantastic this offseason. So I'm going to take this as Jeff Gladney's okay. And I know You guys might get in the comments, you guys might disagree with me, and I can for sure see that. But right now, if I had to put my money on it, I think that Mike Hughes trade, I think Jeff Gladney is going to be there week 1. I'm almost 100% certain on that, because I don't think Mike Zimmer, especially, unless, listen, if they go trade for another corner, they sign a corner, take everything I'm saying off the board. But right now, the way their roster is constructed, there's no changes anymore. Because, hey, Thielen was just on Pat McAfee's show saying they're trying to get in next week, get into the stadium, or get into the facility, all of them, the whole team. So they're trying to get in and get out guys who they know are going to be there. I bet you Jeff Gladney is going to be there. And I bet you there's going to be no talk. There's going to be no questions about it. They're trying to kill this story in the media. And I get it. It's a smart move. I just think Mike Hughes being traded, my first reaction, just like all of you guys, was, goddamn, why the hell did we just trade Mike Hughes for a 6th-round pick? Hey, positive side of it, I think this means Jeff Gladney could be okay. I think this means he could be playing next year 100%. That's how I interpret it. I just don't think Mike Zimmer would roll out Pat Pete, Dancel, and Chris Boyd as the 3 corners and have no cornerback depth. That just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't add up. Listen, you gotta understand in this league, they understand certain situations before they make some. They wouldn't just trade Mike Hughes if they didn't know Jeff Gladney was going to be there. And I bet you if Jeff Gladney wasn't going to be there, Mike Hughes wouldn't be traded, because they need a corner 3. And listen, they might be okay with Chris Boyd being number 4, and that's fine with me, and Jeff Gladney being 3. So they're fine with this. Mike Hughes trade, I think it's a good signing on Gladney. Listen, people are kind of, I feel like we're kind of throwing Gladney out the window right now with everything that happened. He was pretty good last year. I know he had his ups and downs, but he's got really good technique. It's more of a mental thing with him, but if he gets that, he's a physical corner. I mean, listen, he could be really special next year. He could take a huge leap. I think this is a huge news for Jeff Gladney. Let me know what you guys think down below, though. Does this have any correlation? I think it has significant correlation. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel. Daily Minnesota Vikings takes right here. I'm so excited for the season. I'm sure you guys are too. Subscribe, comment down below, leave a like, respond to all you guys. Thank you guys so much. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.